Hello, welcome to Real Opinions. I'm Harrison, and today I'm going to be talking about my initial impressions with Outlast 2 from the recent demo that was released on PS4, Xbox One, and everywhere. So I like the first Outlast quite a bit, but I definitely had problems with it. But I was very excited for this demo because I thought Outlast 2 has the opportunity to surpass the original and become the great game that the original could have been. I liked all of the promotional material. I like the idea that it's going in a totally different direction, but with the same mechanics. So I was very excited. I was excited to see what was in store. So I turned on this demo very, very hopeful that what I get is something that would totally blow me away. And as it stands, there's, much like with the original Outlast, I have quite a lot of positive things to say and a small handful of negatives that just drag it down from being the holy crap, this is amazing thing that it could have been. Number one, they fixed some of my technical issues with the first Outlast. For a start, they've actually implemented a kind of stamina mechanic so that you cannot just sprint forever, which was one of my main issues with the first Outlast, was that after a while you learn you don't need to sneak. You can just run and they'll not catch you. As long as you know where you're going, often just sprinting for the exit is your best chance in the original Outlast. And here they put in a stamina meter that actually rectifies that, and luckily they haven't done the thing that a lot of these horror games do and make the stamina meter obnoxious, where you run for like 5 seconds and then you can't do it anymore. It's a well-judged stamina meter. They've also changed the way that you can hide in things. There's certain like barrels that you can hide in, and new hiding places that use slightly different mechanics, so it's not just under beds and in lockers, which got very repetitive in the original Outlast. Graphically, it is far superior. They've also made more of a difference between you using the camcorder and not. In the original Outlast, I basically always had my camcorder out, and I never understood why you wouldn't. But in this one, there's a very distinct, different visual style between having your camcorder on and not having it on, and they both look fantastic. Night vision also looks a lot better. This is definitely a game that has technically improved from its original. I also liked the atmosphere, the beginning build-up for the first 10 minutes or so. It was very suspenseful. You're walking through the woods in this Arizona desert, and there's these creepy whisperings and kind of vague chantings and lots of foreboding sound design that I thought really, really got me into the mood and really got me afraid. Without any jump scares, without any gore, things that the original Outlast gets criticized for a lot is relying on jump scares and gore so much. But here, for the first 10 minutes, I was creeped out, and it was just through really, really unnerving sound design. I also liked there's a bit towards the end of the demo where you get lost in a cornfield being chased by a load of crazy farmers. That bit was scary. That was intense. It didn't last very long, so I didn't get a proper sense of what the actual gameplay would be like and how it would be different, but it worked. Criticisms now. Now, this is obviously based on a demo. I'm very aware that things could be different, or that we're only getting a brief slice of the game, so I'm going to try and keep that in mind and make my criticisms very clearly things that are about this demo, but that might not be a problem with the game. Number one, as far as this demo is concerned, there's not actually that much gameplay. This is almost a walking simulator. It's 20 minutes long, if that, and at least 15 minutes of it is just walking in a very linear path. Without much happening. There's a couple of jump scares. Towards the end, it felt like it picked up a bit. And yeah, I didn't really get that much feel for what the gameplay would be like. I also didn't like that it repeated the original Outlast's problem of basically locking you in a scary environment, having multiple doors, but only one door is right. And so what you then do is walk from door to door, trying each one to see which one opens. And it totally kills the suspense. I thought this was the original Outlast, and I think it with this one too. A room can be very, very frightening. There could be a guy waiting at the other end of it, and you could be like, oh god, he's gonna go kill me. But once you're stuck in that room for 10 minutes trying to figure out which door to get through, you realise that there's no threat, and it just becomes an annoyance. There's a bit in this demo where there are these creepy ghost hands above you in the ceiling. They're no threat to you. That's fine. If I was just passing through, I would have probably never even realised that they're not a threat to me, and it wouldn't have bothered me. But because I got, stood there trying every door, I realised there was no threat. Tension utterly killed. I also didn't like that there seemed to be more of an emphasis on the supernatural in this. The original Outlast is quite unique for a horror game in that it's all mostly until the very end, about dudes. You're just being chased by crazy guys. And that made it different, and it meant that they had character and personality, because every other horror game is monsters. You got Resident Evil, you got Silent Hill, you got your Amnesias, they're all monsters. And Outlast was unique in that you were playing against proper characters. Every serial killer who hunted you had a personality, and it made it very, very different. Here, a lot of this is devoted to a ghosty kind of thing. I mean, obviously the story's vague, it's just a demo here. And then there was a monster that jumped out of nowhere and jump scared me, and that felt like something very cheap. Like something from an Outlast wannabe, not from Outlast itself. So I didn't like that there was an emphasis on monsters all of a sudden, and that monster was jumping out of nowhere, and there was no build up to it. So that felt like a cheap jump scare. That was a bad jump scare. And also, leading on from that, whilst I think this technically improves on the first Outlast in a lot of ways, I did feel like the certain weird, disturbing personality wasn't quite there. When you're in Mount Massive Asylum in the first Outlast, there are all these crazies with really weird quirks and personality traits, and it's all very disturbing, very unsettling, and it makes being chased by these people all the more fun because each one feels separate and different. Here, I didn't, again, 20-minute demo, very aware of this, but the only people that chased me were generic crazies in the field who didn't have any of their own kind of personality, and I missed having, like, the Groom or Dr. Traeger from the first Outlast, these proper personalities that were hunting me. So, yeah, so far, mostly good. It was atmospheric, it looked better technically, the sound design was very good, and I liked the small actual bit of gameplay I got at the end. Negatives, felt very linear, walking simulatory. I still hate these bits where you can't figure out what door to open, and I missed some of the personality of the first game. The ending of the demo, however, does sort of suggest that personality might come back. I won't spoil it. Oh, it's a demo, what's there to spoil? At the very end of the demo, you bump into this creepy woman with a pickaxe, and she throws you to the floor, thrusts the pickaxe into your groin, and just drags it through. And I thought, there's the nasty Outlast that I know and love, and that made me hopeful. So yeah, I'm optimistic. I think that my main concern at the moment is just the lack of Outlast signature nastiness and this monster that feels very generic. It wasn't a scary monster. I'm a bit concerned that that's going to be a big part of the game, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm optimistic, and in the end of the day, it did scare me. I felt intense when I was playing it, so yeah. Promising. I want the game now, but apparently we've got to wait until 2017. Thank you for listening, and hopefully I'll have more on Outlast 2 later.